Okay, welcome back to another Let's Play brought to you by Podcast 17 and Plan Philip. Today we're playing Chapter 14 of the Half-Life series, entitled Lambda Core, one of the most iconic chapters of all of Half-Life. Everything has pretty much built up to this moment. We have waded through 13 chapters of Half-Life, only to reach our final goal, which is the Lambda reactor complex. There is a lot of information about the Lambda reactor complex on the Combine Over Wiki, and I'm not going to go through it all because it's just mountains and mountains of text of every single section really dissected. It seems the Lambda Core is one of the favorite chapters of most Half-Life fans, and there really is a lot to say about that because a lot of questions are answered in this chapter of Lambda Core. Because like I said, everything has been pretty much building up to this. Our goal through the whole game so far has been to reach the Lambda Core, reach a Lambda reactor complex. So really finding out what's going on here and everything is so important. And there's a lot of really cool events that happen to the build up before we enter Chapter 15, which is Zen. So just to recap, obviously the Resonance Cascade has happened. Zen creatures are teleporting into Earth, and it is believed that the rocket that we launched from Honor Rail will help close the dimensional breach, and we have to somehow interface with that rocket satellite within the Lambda complex. That's the idea, to close the dimensional breach. So we'll see what happens, spoilers aside, and see what happens in terms of with the portal storms. The old level name for this was called Down and Out, as featured in the Day 1 titles.txt. And we're going to see, I think it's one new enemy in this chapter and one new weapon, if I can remember. Oh, actually, technically two new weapons. And one new enemy, so if my memory serves me correctly. So we'll just start our descent into the Lambda reactor complex. There's a lot of speculation on whether or not the Lambda reactor complex was mapped at the end or the beginning of Half-Life's development cycle, because the logos are much different. The text used in the logo is much different. It uses like a different Helvetica font than the rest of all the text in the game. So, and like I said, it's a big chapter, and there's a lot of different areas of it. Really interesting areas. I always forget to press that down. So right now we're in what's called just basically, I guess, the storage bay. You can see that this truck is clearly military, so the military was prepping to descend into the Lambda reactor complex. Oh, there's another one. You sneaky bastard. So we're going to enter the hazardous materials handling bay. Just a second. Ooh, some foreshadowing. There's some great mapping in Lambda Core. I just love all of it. Well, I guess except for that. But. And we get reintroduced to the female assassins, which there's a lot more in this section. Try to get them all here. I think there's 3 on the main floor. Here. Oh no, she's up there. Come on. I'm gonna die if I just stand here. Can I see you from up here? Oh, you're fast. There we go. If my memory serves me correctly, this is the last we see of the of any human enemies within the Lambda Core chapter. Are these female Black Ops? I could be wrong though. Can't quite recall. But there aren't a lot. It's mainly just Zen, because the Lambda Core complex the Lambda complex has pretty much been sealed off by the scientists and security guards. which we'll see in a second. Oh, I hate this elevator. Slowest elevator ever. Oh my god, this is grueling. Alright, here we go. Oh, cool scripted sequence coming up. Oh, hello there. I think there's another grunt behind me. Yep, there you are.
I apologize, Mr. Raymond, but I couldn't risk opening that door until I was sure you had scoured the area. This is the last entrance to the Lambda complex. Every other has been sealed off to contain the invasion. When we realized that you might actually make it here, we drew straws to see who should stay behind to let you through. Obviously, I drew the short one. My colleagues are waiting at the tip of the Lambda reactor. Waiting for you, I mean. The reactor is shut down right now, but you can activate it on your way up. You'll have to flood the core anyway to get into the teleportation labs. You're not authorized to know about those. But I can see you already know a great deal more than any one man is supposed to.
Alright, so we were just throwing a whole bunch of information. Almost, in my opinion, too much to process all at once. The first and foremost piece of information is that the Lambda complex is experimenting with portal technology. And that's really the crux of the whole Half-Life series, is portal technology. A lot of people think that, you know, it's like, it has to do with the resonance cascade. Not so much. It's really just Black Mesa was studying techniques to portal from one end to another, and they found out that they can't teleport within dimensions. They have to use a border dimension, which they call the border world of Zen. So they had to teleport to Zen to get back to Earth. So you'll see here in the Lambda complex, this is where those studies were happening within the Lambda complex. How do you get to Zen, and how do you get back to Earth, and how do you minimize those travel times? So really what happened with the resonance cascade was just us investigating a new crystal from Zen to further enhance that research. So it's assumed that Gordon Freeman didn't know about any of the portal studies going on in Black Mesa or in the Lambda complex, and he's just finding it out now. Now the second thing is that we're learning from the scientist is we have to make our way to the tip of the reactor. To do what? We're not quite sure yet, and this scientist doesn't really seem to tell us. We're under the impression that launching the rocket into space will somehow help us, but we're not sure how, we're not sure what we have to do in order to make that happen, to close the dimensional breach. And then thirdly, we're told that in order to get there, we have to flood the two reactors so that we can make our way up through the teleportation chambers. So, I mean, it's just a lot all at once, and that's why Lambda Core is such a really cool chapter. Full of really cool stuff. So really now we're in the complex. Before we were just in the I guess store. Oops. Damn it. Before we were just in the storage room. Now we're full on in the complex.
Were you in weapons research too? I built the gluon gun, but I just can't bring myself to use it on a living creature. You don't look as if you have any trouble killing things.
Okay, so the gluon gun is the first edition, and I think one of the last weapons that we receive in the Half-Life series. I could be completely wrong. It's called the gluon gun or the Egon gun, and the reason why it's called the Egon gun is if you've ever seen Ghostbusters. This thing looks like the Ghostbuster gun, which was developed by Egon Spengler from Ghostbusters. So that's why the name is also Egon gun, and it's also called Weapon Egon in the SDK. So the gluon gun uses the same ammo as the Gauss gun, highly enriched uranium or whatnot, and it really just has one fire mode, which is that, which is basically like a giant energy particle beam, very similar to the one in Ghostbusters. It's hard not to compare this gun to Ghostbusters. Basically, it's an energy-based weapon, so it can take down things such as the Gargantuan with real ease, and this thing can really just like rip enemies apart. Like, look at this. You just really have to tap it. You don't have to hold it for very long. And again, I mean, it's just destruction. Just pure destruction is what it is. It's often used in multiplayer, obviously, because it's so powerful. It's great at long ranges and short ranges. It can penetrate walls, ceilings, and floors. And that's all in multiplayer. But the downside is if we use it close to a wall, or at least from what I remember. Anyway, you do receive some like residual damage from what I remember from using it. It's also used in Team Fortress Classic as the flamethrower. So if you've ever played TFC, this is the flamethrower model, the same model as the gluon gun. And really, that's about it. Yeah. And also, in terms of trivia on the Combine Over Wiki, the design of the gluon gun has a slight resemblance to the design of the prototype Aperture Science handheld portal device, as seen in the 1950s images from old Aperture. And a lot of people actually skip this part. I remember on my first playthrough, I just skipped this whole test fire chamber. It's easy to skip. Here we go. Now as we descend deeper into the complex, we get a taste of what we have to do, and that is to flood the cooling system. Alright, so when we get here, it's a little bit overwhelming all at once with the whole reactor complex. We got signs here pointing to coolant system 1, signs here pointing to coolant system 2. We got a whole bunch of shit down on the bottom. Just kill off these guys because they're going to bug me. We got a whole bunch of stuff all at the bottom, which seems to be more coolant. We got a diagram here which says pump 1, tank 1, pump 2, tank 2, then the core complex, and then the auxiliary tank and maintenance access to the core. But before we all... I mean, you can go in any which way direction. You can do it in any order. I like going this way first, to the maintenance station. You'll see that there's a Barney here protecting sort of this hallway.
You'll need to activate both pumps to flood the reactor, and then that access pipe down there will take you to the core. Time is short.
Okay, so we get a little bit more information on what we have to do in our goal. We get some ammo too. This is I think this is the auxiliary tank. Once we flood both pumps, or once we activate both pumps, this auxiliary tank will flood, and we'll be able to get through the maintenance hatch, which takes us to the reactor core. So it's a little bit complicated at first, but basically we're here. We want to be here, and we have to activate this guy and this guy to, swim through. Or we're here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we might as well start with the first pump, which is down here. Here's a cool little pump. But we'll head to the blue section first. I can hear him. Where is he? We'll deal with him later. We'll get lots of chances to fight alien grunts. Ow! As you can see, the gluon gun is like absolutely fantastic against alien grunts. It's just so quick to dispose of them. Okay, so this is the first pump. We gotta climb up the maintenance ladder here. It's almost a waste to use the gluon gun on head crabs. They spawn in again. Where are you guys? Yeah. Anyway, so we'll activate the pump. There they are. So now you can see that the water is sort of flooding. Where is it? So we got the first pump flooded. Time to make our way to the second pump. And if you don't talk to that scientist beforehand, it's sort of confusing what you need to do. But anyway, there he is. Okay, so now we're going to the second coolant system pump. Get a little bit of a sequence here of falling debris, which you can just climb through. And there's the coolant system there, or the pump. There's a little mechanic here that's stuck, sort of showing that Black Mesa was a living and breathing complex before everything... Oh, I always forget about that. Before everything went down. Starting to run out of uranium. Convenient valve. This is some terribly designed brushwork. I mean, these lights are clearly just floating, and it's not hard to see that. I mean, how did they miss that, really? Where is he? I think he fell in the water. Yep, he did. There he is. So I forgot to show you in the last one, but the lights sort of light up when you flood the pumps. So as you can see here, the pump 1 and tank 1 are activated. If we do pump 2, see pump 2 activates, then tank 2 activates. So now we're good to go. The reactor is now officially flooded. We can make our way through the core tank and to the auxiliary, or through the auxiliary to the core. Shortcut. Back up we go. Hey, again, if we go back to the scientist down here.
Don't linger, Mr. Freeman. You've turned on the pumps. Now take the access pipe, flood the core, and get on up to the labs without delay.
So, he gets pretty antsy with here. Take some more ammo. You almost feel bad for some of these scientists who are left behind. Plenty of alien grunts in this area, and I'm almost out of uranium. So we'll just jump. Ah! Alright, so this is the primary core. You can see that it goes pretty high up. And here's the coolant, the flow from coolant system 1, which you just sort of activate like that. And the water will go half up. You can see that the reactor is now sort of. Oh shit! I just killed myself. Oh no! Now I'm all the way back here. Oh, that's okay. We'll just quickly blitz this. I was gonna say the reactor is now emanating. Probably should have saved. This is my bad. Oops, wrong way.
Don't linger, Mr. Freeman. You've turned on the pumps. Now take the access pipe, plug the core, and get on up to the labs without delay.
Alright, so now we're pretty much almost there. Back to where we were. This time I won't go in the reactor because it just basically crushed me. But you can see that it was coming to life. It starts to spin and stuff. I'm just going to get some air. We'll activate the next one, which more or less activates the entire reactor. And now we can access the upper levels. And this is a very dangerous area. Oh shit. Oh shit. Sorry. So we're just gonna sort of, oh god. We're gonna sort of get into a safe bit. Ow. Ah. Ah. Alright, the thing blows up. Ah. God damn it. Let me in! Okay. Whew. Alright. So we basically made it through the reactor core, and now we're on level D. We're going to stop the Let's Play here, and continue it up in part 2, and I'll see you guys then.